About every part of Maine has some beautiful old houses, some in hard shape, some carefully preserved.
Few are as well preserved or as elegant as one in downtown Portland, a mansion that's become a tourist attraction and has a lot of stories to tell. 207's Don Kerrigan is here to share some of them. Hi, Don.
Hey, David and Sam. We're talking about Portland's 160-year-old Victoria Mansion. Very well known around this city, but I had never visited there until a week or so ago and made the visit then because we saw a very big piece of equipment. A big crane at a historic house could mean problems.
We've been planning this project for about 10 years now.
But at Portland's Victoria Mansion,
The two porches here are sand-painted wood that is painted to look like brownstone.
it's just the latest step in preserving one of Maine's great buildings. Most of the exterior of this 160-year-old house is brownstone, quarried, yes, in Portland, Connecticut. But Tim Brosnahan says that after a century or so, brownstone starts to deteriorate.
So this is the piece that's right at the base of the structure, right at the ground level.
So they are rebuilding the elegant front bay window section, including this huge piece of stone weighing 5 tons, requiring a delicate touch.
A complicated project, one where we have to protect the precious interiors of this house, but then deal with these pieces of stone.
On the other side of that wall, they have to protect all of this. The reception room, with its intricate decorative painting over plaster, done by Italian craftsmen when the house was built. It's a key piece of what makes the mansion a National Historic Landmark.
Well, I still remember the first impression where you come in through the vestibule and look up, and it just sort of takes your breath away. There's not another house quite like this, I would say, in the country. Complicate that simple picture.
That's what keeps visitors coming to tour the mansion. Tens of thousands every year, the director says. The Victoria Mansion was finished in 1860, built for a pair of native Mainers who had made it big in New Orleans. Ruggles and Olive Morse owned and ran luxury hotels in that city. They had the mansion built in Portland for a summer home and clearly wanted a showplace. It was one of the first houses at that time with running water, central heat, and gas lights. That dramatic front entry soaring up to the huge stained glass skylight. And in the reception room and the parlor, gold leaf over ornate trim to impress their guests.
There was a small troupe of painters who came here in 1860, led by Giuseppe Guidacini. They spent some number of months here in 1860 decorating these interiors, painting everything from moldings and carved details on the flat plaster that look like they're three-dimensional.
The ceiling looks three-dimensional. Is it, or is it largely flat?
It's largely flat. There are a few areas there that have some actual dimension to them, but as you get towards the center, that all of those scrolling figures with the leaves and so forth, that's all painted right on flat plaster to look really, I think, convincingly like it's three-dimensional. You could almost reach out and grab it.
But don't do it.
That's right, not while I'm looking.
History, of course, can be complicated, and there is a bit of darkness to this house, built at great expense by Morse, who in New Orleans was also involved in slavery.
And we know there were at least 27 individuals that they enslaved in New Orleans.
Is it a stretch to say that some of the money that built this house came from slave trade?
I think that's a simple, straightforward fact. I mean, that's almost certainly true.
They must constantly work to preserve what's here. Inside, that takes small brushes and a skillful hand.
I've always been fascinated by history and art at the same time.
Corinne Long is a painting conservator. On a regular basis, she comes to the mansion to clean off layers of old smoke and dust from coal heaters, as well as some long-ago paint touch-ups to let the 160-year-old walls and ceiling shine through.
there's still lots of these walls that need to be cleaned.
Right, because this museum is completely painted. It's almost like entering a painting. When you step into this museum, there's almost no end to the number of walls and surfaces that need to be cleaned and conserved.
Like restoring the brownstone, it is for all of them a true labor of love. But still labor, with the crane work done, at least for now.
Looks like it worked.
I think so. I think we're all breathing a sigh of relief.
There's more work to be done, of course. Tim says there will always be more to do. The house is a museum that captures a moment in time when Southern wealth built a showplace in Maine. And now, says Tim Brosnahan, that showpiece is a survivor, saved 80-some years ago from demolition, and now maybe the last and best of its kind.
So to that saved from demolition aspect, in the 1930s, the house was more or less abandoned by the owners at that time, and it was being looked at for demolition to put in a gas station. But a man bought it, and a year later created a nonprofit and gave it to the nonprofit to become a museum, which it has been ever since. The Victoria Mansion is closed for the month of November while they move some stuff out and do this remarkable holiday decoration of the whole thing, which is a big deal in Portland.
Yeah.
We'll be going back in a few weeks to show how that happens.
Awesome. It's a beautiful home, Don.
It is.
Thank you.